All right. What is going on, everybody? Welcome on back to the Cinema Lords podcast. I am joined once again by my main man, Moose. We were supposed to be a three-man team tonight, but unfortunately, Lukey is feeling under the weather, so it's just the two of us. 2 times in 3 days. How are you feeling?
Good to be back. The short sleeves, the shorts, the windows
open
out there.
Yep.
Love that.
Yep.
But, yeah, Luke, hope you're feeling better, dude. Not the first person I've heard having that flu. Sounds miserable.
No
Jeff
good.
had it at work, and
No
it was
good.
just, stay the hell away.
As soon as
love you, mean it.
Yeah. As soon as he said that he could likely make it tomorrow if we wanted to push, I was like, A, I don't want to push, and B, that seems like a bad idea because I'm not trying to catch that flu.
Take the week off, kid.
Yeah. It sucks that he said a pair of our friends just got married like the other week, and apparently they got sick, and a bunch of the other people at the wedding all got sick, so that sucks. So thoughts and prayers to Lukey and everybody else that was at the wedding. But Moose and I are here again today. We're going to be talking about both White Lotus and Yellowjackets. We're both at the mid-season for both of these shows, so it worked out really perfectly. So we're going to basically do like a mid-season kind of review, recap for these two shows. So we have a lot to get through, and we're going to try to get through it as quickly as possible because I am also recording another show shortly after this, talking all about Mountain Dew, baby.
Mountain Dews,
That's right.
I'm
very
that's
excited.
what I was here for. But I guess I'll do the mid-season recap.
All right. So let's start off with White Lotus. I think there's a little bit less for us to dive into there. So let's get through that first. We already talked after the premiere episode, kind of gave our thoughts. Episode 2, I definitely thought was like a good step up from episode 1. I thought things definitely got a little bit more interesting. I felt like 1 was like a real slow burn. I know we have to like introduce people, but
Yeah, I'd say mostly just an introduction on everybody, right?
yeah.
And some small things. You can tell the family's kind of whacked out and
Yep.
nothing too crazy in the first episode.
You know what I did learn about the family is that the older brother, Saxon, is Arnold Schwarzenegger's son.
Really?
Patrick
Wow.
Schwarzenegger, yeah. I did not know that until like maybe yesterday or the day before. One or the other.
Why doesn't he sound like him then?
I don't know.
He's probably born here, right?
Yeah, definitely. Born in California, probably
Yeah.
born and raised in
Not born in
California.
Austria.
Yeah. No.
I'd be pissed if I was Arnold's son and I didn't have that accent carried along with me. Like I was still,
You should just fake it.
yeah, right. Yeah, this is how I talk.
Like Chris Pratt in fucking Infinity War.
Yeah.
All right, so the episode opens up. The only reason why I even wrote this down was just because it's girls being girls. I think about it all the time when I'm with my family, like at little social gatherings, and you have all the guys in one corner having completely normal conversations about whether it be sports or movies or events going on in our lives, and then you have the girl table, who is quite literally just talking shit about whoever isn't in the circle at that
Heaven
moment in
forbid
time.
you go up to go to the bathroom or something.
You're fucked.
Or deal with your kids or something.
Death
Yeah,
sentence.
you're screwed.
Death sentence. So as soon as we saw that, I was like, oh, that reminds me. That's very familiar.
And then it's the same like fake smile when they come back.
Oh my God, we missed you. You wouldn't believe what happened.
Yeah.
Speaking of Patrick Schwarzenegger, we're going to go to the hotel room. He's sleeping. He's got his whole ass out. And his younger brother's just like staring at his ass like it's a fucking piece of prime rib.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
weird.
the fuck is that about?
Yeah.
Is this like a triangle of, aside from the sister, it seems like the younger brother wants to fuck the older brother. The older brother might be contemplating wanting to fuck the sister. He's also like overly aggressive about getting the younger
No
brother
filter.
laid. No.
No filter.
No. Yeah, it was she was like, what was wrong with your massage? And it was like, no happy ending.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I think he says like, I thought they all ended with like a special out here or some shit like that.
Yeah.
We see the mom, she's still drugged up all the time, which is something that we hinted at during the first episode, but we weren't for sure about it. But this was a weird scene that I definitely took note of was when one of the girls from the triangle, I don't know any of their names.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But she goes over to her and she's like, hey, like, do you know this girl? And we spent an entire weekend together, like on a bachelorette party. And she just fucking like says like one word answers like 4 times. Like a fucking weirdo.
Do you think she remembers or?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or was it just like I don't know what about it turned her off so bad about seeing her again? But
I think
she
she's
wanted none of it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think she's like wildly like snobbish about like anybody that the family like has any relationships or ties
Outside
to.
of the family.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think it's episode 3. Saxon says, hey, I got everybody in the family invited onto the yacht. And she right away, she was just like, like, who did you get invited to that's on a yacht? And she's like, he says they're rich. And she goes, are they like good rich people though? Yeah, it's just like, she's like always like judgy and like very tight knit circle.
Yeah.
Let's see. Goggins, we're finding out more and more that he's got a big deal with whoever owns this hotel. He's working the wife because we found out that the guy is like sick and in Bangkok, but Goggins is going in deep. We also find out that his dad was murdered before he was born and his mom OD'd when he was 10. Kind of explains his rugged exterior.
Yeah. Also weird that the not psychiatrist during the meditation.
Yep.
Kind of gets it right out of him too.
Mm.
Like doesn't really have to dig deep on anything. He's more reluctant to go than he is reluctant to say anything once he's there.
Once he's there, yes,
you know
yes,
what I mean?
yes,
like, it's a struggle to get him there, but once he's there, he just kind of seems to let everything out in the open.
Yes, no, that's absolutely a good point. I wonder also if that has anything to do with possibly like Amy Lou Wood being there for when the appointment is mentioned. So like maybe he doesn't want to be as open about it like in front of her, like you know what I'm saying?
To this point, or even we'll get into it, but even beyond it,
yeah,
doesn't want to.
Maybe he doesn't want her to know like how willing he is to like open up and talk about things like that, because she even says like at one point she's like, "Oh, you're so secretive. Like you don't tell me anything." So
it like turns it on in a way too, though. Sometimes
it does.
It's
yeah.
Like secret agent.
Yes, exactly. She knows that he's obviously like in some kind of illegal activities too. Right. So, let's see. Belinda and the sex therapist guy, they're having a little fucky. Let's see. Oh, yeah, all right. So back to the incestual shit. The younger brother tells the sister that the older brother basically was like, yo, you're hot, and mentions that she's never had sex before, and then like asks her about it, which is weird.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have... Yeah, I was going to say, like, actually, you'd probably be better off to speak than I would, because my siblings are so much older than me that those conversations like never happened.
Yeah.
But like obviously you have a sister that's 2 years younger than us.
Never had a conversation about that.
Yeah.
Do I intend to?
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, exactly. Like that, I can see that just being like fucking weird.
Yeah.
Even in like, what would you have done? Let's say like if in like high school, like your sister had been like, "Hey Seth, like have you had sex before?"
Yeah, that's honestly the way you just asked that is uncomfortable. Like having a picture of that is like that's sacred. That's sacred.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, like oh man. Yeah, maybe it's just because I've never had that conversation. Nor do I intend to. But
oh shit.
Like she could be pregnant and I still wouldn't want to know.
So you're still a virgin.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh fuck. Let's see. Amy Lou Wood is still hanging out with Greg's wife. They go to a little jewelry store, and the jewelry store gets fucking robbed. This felt very random to me. This kind of just felt like almost like a thing that was just like thrown the fuck in, but whatever. The thieves like, get out of the jewelry store with the jewels, and then they run across that security guard who we keep spending time with, and I just said it to you right before we started recording. This security guard and his little love interest for one of the other employees at this hotel might be the least interested I've ever been in any storyline in the history of television.
She's a very popular singer. Dude, she performed at the
That
Oscars.
girl?
Yeah. The James Bond tribute.
That was her?
That was her singing.
No way.
Yeah,
was it really?
That was her singing on there. Yeah.
No
I don't know
shit.
Obviously, I don't know her real name, but
Talk about weird things. That fucking James Bond thing made no sense.
Almost as weird
at
as
all
the
at the
music
Oscars.
that they made during the In Memoriam.
Yeah.
That was almost even more bizarre.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to this, I don't know if it was just to show the ineptitude of the security guard, if that was the only thing, or because at least up until this point and beyond, there's no real, I feel like, inkling of, like outside natives trying to rob this resort.
Yeah.
You know? So I think it was just kind of a one-off just to show, oh, this guy's terrible at his job. And he is. They show, I feel like it's like one big scene or like two smaller scenes, like all 4 episodes with the security guard and this love interest. Yeah, he's either just getting turned down for a date or, she doesn't really turn him down, but she definitely keeps kicking the can down the road.
She's playing hard to get. She wants to be chased.
Yeah. Or it just shows how bad he is at his job.
We're going to see. There's a lot of that, actually. Not just as you get pistol whipped here, but then we have the new gun that gets... Is that it? Episode 4?
4.
They get the gun in the security office in the first episode with 5 minutes. Yeah. 5 minutes, and he fucking lets it get stolen. Let's see. We have a nice little group dinner. We have Amy Lou Wood, Goggins, Greg, and Greg's wife. And we just kind of got Goggins and Greg both. I thought this was a good conversation because they both obviously are involved in illegal shit. And they know that the other one's involved in illegal shit. And they have a very, like, you know, like a wink-wink conversation.
Yeah.
As far as, like, this and that.
Too, like, I don't know if perky is the word, but, you know what I mean? Two perky love interests.
Yeah.
Too, you know what I mean? Like, they're the complete opposite. And these guys,
the young
business or want nothing to do with, you know, opening up what they do.
For sure. You can definitely tell that there is a, like, you can feel the distance, though, in the Greg and his new wife. At least, like, Amy Lou Wood might be keeping, like, at an arm's reach. She doesn't have every in detail, but, like, they're clearly, like, closer than, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's even weird that she, like, Greg's girlfriend was, like, talking about her ex, Greg's ex.
Oh.
The last one. And it's just like, yeah, it's just a sad story. She just, like, fell off the boat and that was it. It was like,
so that, like, obviously, like, stands out because she, like, but that's almost normal to lie about her death. Yeah, the fact that she says he's only been married once to me was actually almost more noticeable. Yeah. Because he says he's
a repeat offender for sure.
Yeah, he says to Tanya at one point, he's just like kind of like he's like, oh, well, my third marriage, and she's like, you've been married 3 times. You told me it was only twice, and he's like, the third time was to you, you fucking moron. But he's keeping a lot under the belt, including 2 other past marriages. Let's see here. Belinda. Oh, this is good. Belinda spots Greg at dinner. It seems like she can't quite remember who he is. Let's skip ahead to the next episode when she's talking to that local massage therapist guy that she's got a little flirtation with. And she's talking about the events of season 1. And that's when she starts talking about it, she's like, oh shit, like that's how I know that motherfucker. Yeah. And she obviously ends up going over to him and kind of not accusing him, but questioning him. And
Greg knows it too, off the top of his head too.
Oh yeah,
Greg,
for sure.
Like, fuck.
Yeah. Because he like also, even after the conversation, he keeps like looking over at her to like see if she's looking at him. You know what I mean? Yeah. To see if he's in the clear or not. But that was good, and I feel like that's gonna obviously expand too. Because then we see, is it in episode 4 is when she looks him up online and she finds out that it is in fact him. Yeah. So that's gonna be a storyline.
Well, he looks her up.
Oh, that's yes. Yeah. So that's episode 4. But she does look him up too. Is that?
Yeah.
All right. That's 4 too.
He shows at the end, without jumping ahead, he shows he's looking up at her son, and he kind of like is circling in on her son. Who,
importantly, we should remember that he is the opening scene of the show. Yeah. He's like making his way through the hotel while there's like the shooting going on. Yeah. So, and also we heard him on the phone with Belinda. I think it was this 4th episode as well, and he was like, "I'll be there tomorrow." So he's probably going to be in the next episode, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and that's when she hits the fan. I think he said in the first episode that he like this is his first day there.
Yes. Yeah. Oh shit! Really?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. So that means things are just gonna like the time frame of things are gonna start like
should be picking up.
Yeah. I gotcha. Let's see. We go to a Jason Isaacs conversation. He's on the phone. The nice little cameo from Kihei Kwan.
That was him.
Yeah,
okay.
That was.
As soon as I heard it, I was like, "It's got to be him, right?"
Yeah. I think the first time I watched episode 2, like it's like Sunday nights, and it's like usually I've been drinking at some point during the day, and then like at the end of the like it's White Lotus too. Like it's not Game of Thrones, it's not The Sopranos, it's not even like Entourage. Like I'm not totally like locked in, like looking at every detail of the show.
Yeah.
So I think it's just something I must have missed, or I might even been like dozing off and missed that phone conversation. But either way, we find out that it's a money laundering bribe kind of thing that's going awry, and it's this was a good line. He said, "I've only made $10 million off of this deal."
Off of one deal, yeah.
Like, what do you mean? How much money?
What was the goal?
Right, exactly.
I wonder were you on the goal?
Yeah, no shit. What did you think you were gonna fucking make?
Yeah.
And while he's having this conversation on the phone the entire time, that security guy that we were just talking about, he was watching him. And then in the 4th episode, when we were just talking about the guard losing the gun, Jason Isaacs is the one that's eventually going to go steal it because, again, they're having a conversation like right next to one another.
Yeah.
And he's able to slide right in and steal that gat. Which, why? Is it just like in the case that like the FBI somehow gets all the way to like fucking...
Yeah, it's just paranoia, but I don't know how far we want to jump ahead, but the interesting dynamic is that his older son... clearly looks like he wants to, or he's going to hook up with Greg's wife.
Yeah.
So something might be happening to the older son, and now Jonathan Isaac has a gun. So what's his retaliation if something like that happens?
Oh,
you know what I mean? Or you find out that they're both running away from certain things. So is there they striking a deal or something? You know what I mean? Is it help me out? You know, scratch my back, I scratch your kind of deal. I feel like there's either a deal to be made or it's going to be centered around the oldest son's going to get fucking poached because he's banging Greg's wife. And
yeah, that was something Greg was noticing.
Yeah. And now, like I said, Jonathan Isaac has a gun, so maybe that's his retaliation.
Jason Isaacs knows he's on the run for the rest of his life, kills Greg, steals his yacht.
Yeah, right. That's what I was saying, something like that, right.
I don't hate it. That'd be fucking wild. Let's go. And the episode ends the exact same way that it started. Bitches being catty as fuck and talking shit about whoever is in the room. This time it's Michelle Monaghan. She's the one that left, and the other two bitches
so
just
we now see it every time
shit.
Where, well, this happens the next episode, but
yep, the next episode.
We now see it where one of them is excluded, and they're immediately shit talking the one that's not in the room.
Yep. And I wrote down too, even though I'm into the Isaacs family, like the incestual shit's crazy. Isaacs obviously has his own situation that's pretty interesting. There's the pill popping thing. There's some interest there for me. The only real thing that's like driving me to come back to this show every week though is Goggins and Amy Lou Wood.
Yeah, they're an awesome combination.
They're an awesome combination.
Yeah, she's such a ride or die.
She is. They like work well off of each other. Goggins is always good. Like Goggins never ever fails. Like he's good in everything he does. And she just, I feel like, bounces off of him in this show, like, very, very well. Yeah. I love her. She's just, like, obviously, like, I've seen a lot of her in Sex Education, and she's just, like, the sweetest little thing for me. Yeah. Like, there are times when there's a character, like, that's occasionally, like, mean to her in Sex Education, and, like, every time there's a scene like that, I'm, like, pounding on the table. Yeah. I'm like, dude, no, yeah, like, be nice to her, because she is a sweet little angel, and she should never be. She doesn't, yeah. She should be treated with kids' gloves at all times. But she is ride or die, like you said. But I thought that second episode definitely had more legs to it than the first one. I definitely got a little bit more intrigued.
Yeah, a little past the introductions and
yes,
a little bit more into storylines.
But then, unfortunately, right after that, we get to episode 3, and I felt basically the opposite way because episode 3, if it's not for Goggins and Amy Lou Wood going to that snake show and him smoking that laced weed and letting all the snakes free.
What was in that weed?
Oh, that shit was wild. Yeah, that Bangkok weed, bro. Oh my God. That scene was awesome though. Like that's the kind of thing where I actually was, even though this is kind of like a slower show, like when you see Goggins, the gears are turning and you can like tell, like, oh shit, like he's gonna let these fucking things out. Yeah. I like actually, like I sat up, I was like, do it. I was like, let him out of the fucking cage. Ballsy too. That guy wasn't just like opening the cages. He was like grabbing the snakes and just like, you're free now. Go on, free. So that was the big highlight to me for this episode. But we also, with the Isaacs family, he's getting pushed. He talks to a guy that I think it's his lawyer. It seems like his attorney.
Yeah, I would assume. Yeah.
But basically, he says the FBI has a warrant. They're raiding his office and basically just to not answer his phone for anybody. And even Isaac's son, Saxon, Patrick Schwarzenegger, he's starting to get calls now saying that everybody in the office is looking for him. So Isaac finally responds by giving in to Pam, which he has been kind of a dick to her for the first 2 episodes. But he's like, Pam, you got that bag? He's like, everybody, we're turning in everything. Phones, laptops, watches, the whole 9.
Yeah. And do we think they're trying to reach his oldest son because they can't reach him?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean,
just another, so he's in on it too, obviously.
Ooh, I don't know. You're saying like as far as the illegal
knowing about the illegal activities.
Ooh, I don't know. If I had,
or just to ask some questions. Yeah,
I don't think so.
Necessarily in on it.
Yeah, I don't think so. I would be surprised if he's involved in it. Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. I'm interested to see if that was the case. That would be more interesting. Actually, that would definitely throw a monkey wrench into things. Let's see here. Oh, here's a quick note that I also made. Posture correction courses. Where do I sign up?
Right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say how do I sign up? I have hip pain and chronic back pain.
My back's been killing me, dude. Every time I sit in an office chair, my back kills me.
Oh, it's brutal.
Yes.
Dude, that fucking couch I have out there is super comfortable and I love it. But every time like I'm sitting in it, like I'm like fucking like this, like curled into a little ball. And as soon as I like get up off of the couch, I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. But then
getting old sucks.
Even during those classes or whatever, he's showing he shows like feminine tendencies. Crossing his legs.
Yep, constantly like on guard of his belly.
I think the way the guy describes it is like you're trying to like protect your inner self or something like that.
Yes.
Like shield yourself from something.
Yep, always on guard. Which it makes sense because he's like, it's almost like he's constantly guarding like his midsection.
Yeah.
Which actually, you know what makes sense that he says like the female, well, not the female side, but now that I think about it, it's like, I don't know. I think belly, I think of like pregnant lady, like moms protecting their wombs and shit. So maybe it's like he's just crossing that shit over. Yep. Let's see. Greg's new wife we already talked about. We already talked about Saxon moving in on her, so that's happening. Actually, I think we pretty much almost just covered this entire episode. Let's see. We can go to the end. The three bitches, which this storyline is getting less and less interesting to me too.
Yeah, I was all for like waiting for the car crash or whatever that is.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
But now they're just like, yeah, it doesn't do it for me.
No.
Unless one of them, turns and does something drastic to another one. You know what I mean? Like
one of them
they reach a boiling point where
fucking around with Michelle Montague's boyfriend who won't answer her texts.
Yeah, something like that.
Some crazy shit.
I'll
take that. This was a conversation though where like I would just prefer the cattiness. Like just give me like the girls being like, oh, she looks good, but she looks tired and like she's had some work done, as opposed to them talking about her moving to Texas and religion and politics. And like I never want to watch any television show and hear about whoever the real life president is. Yeah. Never.
Take me away.
Whether it's Trump now or fucking Biden or Obama or Bush, like I'm watching TV, especially like what we're watching. We're watching like fictional shows. Like we're not watching shit like that's heavily based in reality. It's like
I want to be on this resort in Thailand.
Exactly.
For an hour.
Right. Please. I'm here for the incestuous family, Isaac's illegal money, and then fucking Goggins and trying to hunt down like his dad's killer, apparently. That's what we're going to find out in the episode 4.
Like I said, the way that they talk about Texas, they make it sound like it's like Iraq.
Yeah. No shit. Yeah. And they even do like...
She's a woman in Texas? Like, it's a state,
dude,
the United States. It's not like...
She says that she's, like, her family started going to church on Sundays. That's it. Like, didn't even say, like, they were, like, Bible-humping fucking religious fanatics. Just said, yeah, we started going to church. Like, a thing that, like, happens a lot, I feel like, especially, like, in, like, not older age, but say parents have kids, and then they get to, like, 50, and they're like, you know what? Like, we're going to become, like, a church-going family because it's good for the kids, and yada, 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 yada. They would just, like,
she's making friends
she's
making friends with people that are religious.
Yeah, she lives in a neighborhood where everyone's going to church, so like it makes sense to just go on to. It's like common conversation kind of thing.
Like you're surrounded by them,
right? She said she was going to church on Sundays, and they like looked at her like in disgust.
Yeah, right.
In disgust.
Yeah.
And then obviously there's the Trump thing, and then afterwards later on when like that girl's out of the room, she hears them over talking, just like she's done now before. And they're like, basically talking shit about how she's a Trump voter.
So all know they're fake for one another.
Woohoo! Go Trump.
Yeah.
This is what we were talking about a second ago too, but we kind of already hit it. Belinda is talking to the boy toy, bringing up the events of season 1, and that's how she's able to connect the dots. She goes over, he denies everything, plays dumb. And then we get the setup for episode 4, which we find out that everybody is basically going on this yacht. Goggins, Amy Lou Wood, and the entire Isaacs family are all going out on this yacht, which is a nice, like right away, that was a good build-up for episode 4.
Yeah.
I wasn't too interested in episode 3. The snake scene really saved it for me because that was very funny.
Yeah.
Like that was very, very, very funny. And then this was like a nice table setter for, all right, you have all these people that kind of dislike each other. Like Goggins and Greg obviously don't get along. Goggin and Isaacs definitely don't get along.
Right.
Saxon's trying to bang Greg's wife. There's a lot of like, interwebbing of these fucking relationships, and they're all going to be on a boat in the middle of the ocean. Nowhere to go. There's no escape. Can't go anywhere. And then the final thing from that episode is we see that Isaacs finally gives into the pill popping. His wife's been trying to get him to take one.
Do we think that's a new development in his life, or
Isaac? Yeah, I think so.
So
at least for me,
he's not like hiding it, and he's not like Jordan Belfort, where
I don't think
where
so.
He is where he works. Like,
I mean, he obviously could be. I don't get that vibe.
Yeah,
I don't.
I mean, you also wouldn't. I feel like I don't know. You wouldn't have you wouldn't historically do that. And he feels like once he finds out what it does and how much it's helping him, he's just like need more.
The wife says
do it in moderation or anything.
The first time that he agrees, she says these are non-addictive, and it's just like,
yeah,
all pills are addictive, honey.
Right.
But yeah, no, I don't get the impression that he is like a low key, like druggie.
Yeah.
If I get the impression that he kind of knows his wife is a drug addict,
Right.
because he actually kind of says that too. There's a line where he's like, I think it's kind of just like. That's not my thing. Like, that's your thing. Almost like you're the druggie. I'm not that. I'm like the clean, straight edge kind of guy.
Yeah. That's all I'm not.
Right. Yeah. You can't have two parents that are both fucking strung out on painkillers or whatever it is. Xanax, lorazepams. Yeah. Love me a good lorazepam. We're moving good, actually. So let's keep going. Episode 4. This is the most recent one that just came out a couple days ago. We actually open up with Isaac. He's still popping his wife's pills. He's stealing from her purse, which she's going to pick up on. And then when they finally get onto the yacht, he's going to straight up just go full blown. He goes to steal a pill and ends up just saying fuck it and just takes the whole fucking thing. Yeah. Which honestly, if you're going to be stealing, is probably
Just steal one time.
the smarter move
Yeah.
as far as not getting caught.
Yeah.
Because if you keep taking just a pill or two at a time, that means that you have regular access. You're nearby enough where you can keep going to this container, as opposed to being on this yacht with strangers and the whole thing going, someone just went through your shit and snagged all of your pills.
That too, yeah.
You know what I mean?
So many people on the boat that can, why are you going through this woman's purse?
Right.
You know?
That part actually was funny. When she asked where she could put her bag, and the girl's like, wherever, we're on a yacht. No one's everyone here's rich.
Yeah.
And she goes over to the chair and she pulls out the pillow and she shoves it behind the
Her
pillow.
own husband is the one that's stealing.
Yeah. When she when she put it behind the pillow, she looks at him and she goes, "It's safe there." Oh shit.
So reluctant.
She's yeah. She's kind of funny. She kind of makes me laugh. In a weird. I'm laughing at her.
Yeah.
Not with her kind of thing. You know what I
The
mean?
accent, I think, helps too.
Yeah, that does. Yeah. The fucking
They're good people, right?
the whole fucking Duke UNC thing just kind of fucking made me laugh too. Oh, great fucking scene. I already kind of talked about the resort. They got a new firearm in the security office after being robbed in the jewelry store heist last episode, which we already kind of talked about. The security guard who we spent a bunch of time with, he's going to basically leave the gun unwatched for about 5 seconds, and Isaac's going to sweep right in and take that shit. But we're going to go from there to a great scene. This one was very funny. Isaac wakes up. The whole family's in their little, room, basically, a little, TV room, center room. Yeah, exactly. In the middle of the hotel, and he's still in distress. He's worried about everything going on back home. He's popping pills, so he's feeling kind of loose.
18 hours, whatever it is, between having a long ass nap and then going to bed for the night.
Yeah, so he's been sleeping for 24 straight hours, grogged out on pills, completely overstressed. Forgets that he's in nothing but a robe and just lets the robe slip, and then we get Jason Isaac's cock just fucking dropped on him.
CGI or whatever it was. Yeah.
Shower, not a grower.
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus Christ, my God, Malfoy, put that thing away.
That was impressive.
I fucking died laughing though. I thought that was so fucking funny. So like we kind of said, we're all going out on the yacht. Everyone's there. Isaac is completely zonked out, which I actually did find to be pretty funny. He's just sprawled out there. He's got his drink in his hand. Yeah, with his whiskey. I did think that was pretty funny. A lot of this we actually kind of already hinted on. Saxon's getting too close to Greg's wife. He's watching him the whole time. We find out this was a big thing. So obviously Goggins is spending a lot of time either watching the hotel owner, talking to the hotel owner, trying to figure out where her husband is. And he finally, after being badgered by Amy Lou Wood so many times, tells her that supposedly the man who owns this hotel is the guy responsible for murdering his dad before he was born. He says, like, this is the reason why my whole life was fucking awful is because of this. He also did say his mom was a drug addict and OD'd at 10, though. So I'm like, how?
Yeah, there's some blame to go around.
Yeah, maybe, like, things aren't exactly how they were explained to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, your mom was the one that told you all this shit, so maybe she was keeping out a few details.
I think he says something along the lines, too, of, like, you know, this guy deserves to know that before he dies. And I feel like he deserves to know that he fucked up my entire life.
Yeah. It also very much, like, you get the impression, like, she doesn't know, she doesn't know about all the illegal activities. She knows he's involved in illegal activities, but then she kind of picks up on this. She's like, murder's kind of.
She's like, you're going to do something bad,
Yeah.
aren't you? Like, still, like,
Yeah.
like, not oblivious, but.
Murder.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that's definitely farther than I think she expects it to go as far as illegal shit to go. Let's see here. Ladies want to go out for a fun day. This only stuck out to me because it very obviously seems like it's going to be a scheme, right? Like the guy that works at the hotel.
Especially the two dudes that he brought up.
Right.
I didn't think they were going to make it.
Right. He almost, now even though there's three of them, they kind of remind me of like the kid from season 2, who's like, he's supposed to be like the nephew of the older gay guy. And
right.
turns out he's obviously not because he's fucking his uncle.
Yeah, right.
And he's trying to pull a scheme on Tanya and her assistant and shit like that. It kind of gave me the same vibes as that. So yeah, like the ladies,
Big ass scary Russians.
yeah.
one of the guys was
Well, no,
terrible.
one of them was, yeah. The other one was
scary as
very much like the typical like island.
Yeah.
Like you can tell, yeah, exactly. He's fucking all
Bruno
the
Mars
fucking
looking
visitors.
motherfucker.
Yeah, that's all he was missing was the hat. Yeah. But yeah, that's something that sticks out to me. We kind of got left off with them just kind of like getting together, so that's I'm gonna guess be carried into next week. But I could very much see that being some version of a scheme. I'm sure the guy that works at the hotel probably knows that Michelle Monaghan's an actress. If I had to guess. Even if he hasn't acknowledged, he probably knows.
Good money behind her, yeah.
Right. Even if you're at this resort in general, you have to have some money
right.
behind it. Him sending them to like the retiree resort first though was funny.
Yeah,
that did make me laugh. Like the way they shot it, I thought was like very good. Just as far as like, oh, there's two fans here that recognize Michelle Monaghan. And then that leads her to like next, like look into the pool, and you see the people in the pool, and they're all old. And then she looks at the other chairs, and they're all old. She looks at the bar.
The two women that she's talking to at first, she's like, "Oh, my husband died in 2022." She's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." There's like, "Oh, my husband died in 2019."
Yeah.
And that's when like the wheels start spinning for her. She's like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah,
and then starts looking
yeah.
over, and it's just this old guy smoking a cigarette with his feet kicked up, and like, I didn't think that's the point where she starts losing it. But.
Which that's the like if you're in fucking Thailand at like this rich ass resort, you're old and you're just smoking a cigarette in the pool. It's like well done,
But don't you think
sir.
it's also what's the butler Vladimir or whatever his name is?
Something like
That's
that.
got to be like part of his scheme, right? Like he knows that they're not gonna just stay at this retiree home.
Oh
So
right,
he's like, they're gonna come back to me, and now it's like, oh,
that's a good call.
like,
yes,
you really want to have a good time?
That's a good call
All right,
because
let's go have a good time.
he even goes like, "Oh, like, are you mad?" Like,
Yeah.
it's a good call. That's even more of a good job. Yeah, I like.
Want to
that.
get out of here? No, now let's get out of here. Then I'll show you what Bangkok's all about.
Yeah, long con fucking scheme. It's crazy seeing like this show, and obviously there's such a heavy focus all the time on the scenery of this show, whether it was Italy or Maui, and then you think of like the way they portray Bangkok in like Hangover 3. Is that Hangover 2, Hangover 3, Hangover 3,
Yeah.
and it's just like worlds apart.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I did mark it down as one of the things I think at the end of the episode. I complained when we did when we did the first episode. I said that this was the episode that did the least for me, like scenery wise. This episode was like a good step against that. When they were on like the yacht and they're showing all of like, I think because that's where they filmed. I think like the King Kong and shit. I'm pretty sure. I want to say.
Oh, really? Skull Island?
I think so. Yeah. And like you're looking at all the islands and all that shit. I was like, oh wow. I was like, I said like that's one of the things I said out loud. I was like, oh wow. I was like, sick shot. I was like, that looks fucking.
The very
pissed.
last scene is cool too when they're going to the island for the full moon party.
Oh yeah.
Those are
Yes.
awesome,
Yes.
but-
Yes. All of the scenic shots they did in this episode, I thought were very,
I also struck
very
out too
nice.
because the first episode I was like, yeah, this definitely seems the most like secluded out of all. And now like people are running into the town, people
Yeah.
are flying to Bangkok.
That's true.
People are fucking traveling.
That's
to
a good call.
Another island, so I struck out on that one.
Yeah, no, that's a very good call. They definitely did. They did. They all stretched out. It seems like so Goggins going to be in Bangkok in episode 5 with Amy Lou because she ended up going with him. No, she didn't. She ended up going back on the boat.
She's on the boat.
Yeah.
So,
So we get the pool, like the boat party. Goggins is gone. Yeah, things are getting spread.
The thing. So the takeaway I had was that I think it's this episode, but Amy Lou, what she says, she talks about bad things come in threes.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, I got robbed, got bit by a snake, and she's like, now what's next?
Oh no.
And she's all on her
No.
own. And I don't. It
don't
seems
like
to all be
this.
things centered around her, right?
I don't like
not
this.
Walter Goggins.
Yeah.
So
She also was like,
what's the third?
she was there at the robbery too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
She
I
got
don't like
almost held
this.
at gunpoint. She could have died getting bit by a poisonous snake.
I
She's
don't
like,
like
yeah,
this.
bad things come in threes. What the hell's gonna happen now? So
I don't like this.
yeah, that'd be sad.
I'd be
That'd be sad.
livid. I'd be
That'd
fucking
sad.
livid. So yeah, that they go. We got the let's go home. End up in a small. Oh, that was kind of a cool scene too. Actually, that's kind of more of the scenic thing that I marked down. The ladies go into that town and it's like the holiday, and they're getting chased by like the water gun kids. I liked that scene.
Yeah.
Thought it was shot well. I thought it was funny, and I thought they did a good job of like showing again like the scenery, like a different part of the city compared to what we've seen so far of just trees in the mountains and stuff like
When
that.
they're like hiding behind, and they're in the store hiding behind something.
Yeah.
She peeps out. They're like, they're
still
there.
there.
Just- the kids are just sitting there like this with the water gun, just ready to attack.
Oh shit! How much have you seen all of Sons?
Yeah.
Like the second season, they basically do that. Like they're dealing with like the white supremacist guys, and they like get him to like a little grocery store, and he's like hiding out behind like the deli, like looking outside, and they're all just like standing at the window, just like, "What's up?"
Anytime now.
Yeah. This place is gonna close eventually, and we'll be right here waiting. Second season, worst season of Sons of Anarchy by a good margin for the
That's
Sons.
Ireland one, right?
What is it?
Ireland's.
Ireland's my second. Ooh, Ireland's probably my favorite season. That's 3.
Yeah.
Ireland's probably my favorite. That's my season 3 is probably my favorite, and them going to Ireland is like my favorite like stint in the show.
Yeah.
It's fucking great. Let's see. Belinda knows that Greg is in fact. We talked about that. Isaacs. We find out he's facing jail time. Could lose all of his money. Could lose his house. So things just keep getting worse and worse for him by the episode. I think this is probably like, is this going to conclude? Well, you already hinted at one thing that could be cool if he steals like Greg's yacht and just sails off into the abyss. But is this going to end with just like the FBI like coming and crashing? Oh my God! Is that what the opening scene is?
Yeah, maybe. Could be.
It's like the FBI
I'd
come
be-
for Isaacs and
I'd
he's
be more
fucking
intrigued
returning
for-
fire.
I'd be more intrigued for Greg and Jonathan Isaacs, like, I don't know, like, teaming up would be the right word, but listen, because they talk about
Helping
like,
one another.
Oh, normally when you come to Thailand, you're either running from something or you're looking for something, so they have to, like,
Hiding from something.
yeah, hiding from something. So they're very, like, cunningly, like, are you hiding for something? Like, you're hiding from something or are you looking for something? So, like I said, that's the most interesting predicament. Is like they could kind of help each other, but also at the same time, his oldest son looks like he's going to be banging Greg's girlfriend. And now now Jonathan Isaac has a gun. So how would he retaliate if something were to happen to his oldest son?
I really want to see that.
And you got Lockie out there too now. Now Lockie's on the boat too
Oh yeah,
with them. So
that weird fucking kid. He's a weird.
doing magic tricks and stuff.
Yeah, that was good though.
Yeah, nothing's a panty dropper like a good magic trick.
Fuck, that's like. Oh,
Also
man.
bails on his sister too. Sister wants to tell the family that she's moving to Bangkok, like wants to move there and become a monk.
We kind of said, like I said, it was an incestuous triangle aside from her. She is weird to Lockley.
Yeah.
Like, not like necessarily like sexually, but like.
I think that's the closest thing to like a brother-sister relationship out of the 3.
Yeah, I guess.
She
is
older brother
very.
basically just wants to it wants to make him a younger version of himself.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Whatever weird sex thing is going on with his sister. So now they're the only two that, because like she even says it, she's like, I need you at this dinner. Like say something positive, like do something.
Every time he
And doesn't
tries
have
to
a
like.
fucking voice. He
No,
never has a
tries.
voice for himself either.
No.
Like, hey, drink the protein shake. I don't want to drink the protein shake. Drink it. He drinks it. Now, hey, we're going on the boat. Like, knows that his sister needs him. Just goes like, I don't know what do you want me to do. Like, never has any Never fights for himself in any circumstance.
No, which is what he learned in the posture correction class.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to go back and watch that opening scene from the first episode now, because now all I'm trying to think of is like the different sounds of gunfire and shit.
Right,
yeah,
right. Or, like,
look at the automatic weapons, or like, because that would be. Imagine if like the FBI comes crashing down and Isaacs is just like laying down pistol fire.
Or like all the bad people are out on the boat.
Oh,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
all, like the Belindas of the world are in the resort. You know what I mean? Like the innocent people.
Interesting.
That'd be a real shame.
Yeah, no. Now that I'm thinking about that, that opening scene, things do get kind of crazy. You always forget about that because this show's always
Yeah.
revolving around a murder that they show in the first opening scene of the show.
Yeah.
So, and this one they don't show like a body or anything. It's just like the gunshots.
They're showing floating, right?
In the yeah, like in the pond. Yep.
I'm very glad we got some kind of direction in this episode because, like I said, the other day I said it like I'm excited to talk about this because I have no idea where this is going. I say it in a very good way that I have no idea where this is going, but
yeah, I
now
think
it seems like there's a little bit more direct. Now we find out what's going on with Walter Goggins. Now there's a little bit more connections with Greg, Jonathan, Isaac.
I do think that you're more into this season than I am, which is good.
I'm very like it's the thing of not knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah,
is very very interesting to me.
I wish there was like, I wish that I cared about like the 3-girl triangle more. I wish that there was more teeth to that. I think that would probably
teeth, then
put me over the edge a little bit more as far as intrigue with the show.
Yeah.
Like to me right now, like granted we still have 4 episodes to go. This is to me like right now like the least not interesting, but like the season that I've liked the least.
Yeah.
Like I really loved season 2. I thought season 2 was phenomenal, and I thought season 1 was also like very good, but slow. Not slow, but it's supposed to be more reserved than season 2 was. Right. And this one I feel like is more along the lines of season 1. Yeah, I just like if it wasn't for Goggins and Lou Wood's storyline,
now they're separated, so
yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't make it worse for them.
And now you have me worried about Amy Lou Wood.
Yeah, bad things come in threes.
Don't like that. So that's those 3 episodes. We kind of talked about literally everything and the mid-season as a whole, like we just said. I think you're a little bit more invested than I am, but we're both clearly invested. 4 episodes left, and it seems like things are all coming to a head as far as Zion being here. The doors are closing in on Isaacs. Yep. Belinda and Greg is going to be coming to a head soon, too, so... I can imagine that the trailer for this week too, after episode 4, like the trailer for the rest of the season, like going forward, looked like things were like business was gonna pick up.
Yeah,
like a lot more fireworks.
Start showing some direction. Now everybody kind of knows where it's going. So
yeah,
now it's time to take off.
All right, so both invested. You a little bit more than me, but a lot of storylines, a lot of different options. Got 4 more episodes to go. Do you have anything else from White Lotus?
No.
Right.
The big thing was the bad things come in threes. Is what I wanted to point out. So
right.
I'm nervous about Amy Lee Wood. That's for sure. Amy Lee Wood issues.
The fact that you said that makes me very nervous.
I can tell.
Yeah, I do. Oh, there you go. Yeah. It's the slot right below the other one. All right. So we're gonna get into Yellowjackets now. Episodes 3, 4, and 5. We covered the first 2 during that premiere. Same thing. Yellowjackets, just from an overall arching perspective, the first season I thought was incredible. I thought it was a phenomenal season of television. And then I thought season 2 was very meh and a massive step down. And now I am like all the way back in on this show. Like when Friday comes, like in the morning, I'm like, oh man, like Yellowjackets is tonight.
Yeah, like it took me a little.
Man.
It took me a little bit to watch the most recent one and the one before. It's one of those you got to be in the mood kind of shows.
Yeah.
Not necessarily it's Sunday, so I have to watch this.
I hear you.
But it's another one. I don't really know where it's going. There was one in the last episode that we'll get to that really bothered me. Maybe they'll expand on it more as it goes on.
Just like part of the plot.
Yeah, it was almost like because their big thing with like the delays and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like this kind of seemed like it was
Big
one of
time
those
delays.
things that the delay fucked them, or unless
Big
that was
time.
how they intended to do it. But we'll get into it when we get there.
They were supposedly going to shoot this season and season 4 back to back.
Yeah.
Which like shows have done now because of that, and they decided not to, which I really hope because the show was supposed to be 5 seasons. I hope that when they come back for season 4, they just shoot 4 and 5 back to back, and we can get like say 2 seasons probably within a year of one another, like say 6 months apart, and we can wrap this show up, and the girls can basically hopefully not look too much older than they are right now.
Yeah, and you're also starting to. At first, I was just rooting for everybody to survive for the most part. Now,
like all
now
the
you're starting as a younger version, but and unfortunately, that some people survive, but. You start to pick people that you're like, oh, I can't stand. Like, I'm sure we'll get into it, but I can't stand this person.
Everybody. I'm starting to hate everybody,
Younger
even
version?
characters that I kind of like.
Younger version, yeah.
I was in on Van, like I was a
Stinks
Van
as the
guy.
leader.
Yeah.
She stinks as the leader.
Yeah, she's tough. I do like younger version of Nat much more than the old version though. The old version just kind of annoyed me, but Van was like a big character to me that like I liked, and now like I'm starting to dislike.
Yeah.
She's fucking becoming annoying to me. Sometimes the things she says. So let's go. Episode 3 here. We're going to pick up right where we left off. We're going to have Coach and Mari in the cave. This was some good stuff. Mari's going to try to flirt with them. Obviously, it doesn't work. He's gay, and he's made a mental note of everything, which when he starts going through the list, like this bitch has really gone out of her way to try and ruin this guy's life. So it's not exactly surprising that he remembers all of it. But we have a little, we see like some bear spray. There's a little scuffle. They both end up getting sprayed in the eyes.
That's really funny.
Yeah, it was pretty good. The more important thing, which we're going to see more of, is when they're inside of this cave, they hear like these fucking, basically like monsters roaring. It sounds like they're above and around them. It sounds like they're moving in a huge, like almost like a stampede kind of sound. The wind's going crazy, blowing everything around, and they both hear it. So it's not just a matter of Coach, like at the end of episode 2, like being possibly crazy and going insane. They both hear it, so it's very much real.
Yeah.
So inside of this cave seems to be some kind of direct attachment to the wilderness.
Like I said, I think I go back to what I said after the first couple that we talked about. It seems like the tree or cave, whatever it is, like maybe it only fits one. You know what I mean? So
okay.
Now that there's more than one people in there, that's when it starts getting pissed off.
Okay.
That's kind of what I got out of it.
I don't hate that. That's not bad.
I marked Javi, Coat. You know what I mean? Like, only one person has been going to it.
Right.
Javi was going to it.
Yeah, for a
Coach
while.
was going to
You know what though? Javi came back and he was fucking weird.
Yeah.
Remember that? He came back and he like wouldn't talk.
Yeah.
He was like fucking.
I'm
he
sure
was
they're
on
talking
mute.
to him, but I don't know if they're pissed off.
And then Coach is like talking to shit now. So like, I think there's still something going on even if you're there by yourself. Now that I think about it. I marked down just real quick. Mari kind of suggests like a thing about a second reality and talks about like a dark reality, like underlying, like underneath the real one. I was like, that's literally the upside down. I was like, that is quite literally Stranger Things. The final season's coming this year. Stay in our own lane. It's just stay in the lane.
Yep.
Coach is finally going to let her go, though, and she is going to be a total bitch. Like, even after he gives her some hot chocolate and lets her go, she fucking kicks out his stick, throws it across the goddamn cave, and fucking leaves him. Which, when she was like, I'm not going to tell anybody, I was like, that's the worst thing you can say. Because now that you say that, now I know, like, you're going to say something.
Yep.
Which is weird, though, because when she does finally get back to camp, she doesn't initially say anything.
Yeah.
It's not until Sean is like, how did you get out of the hole with a fucked up leg? And she's like, she even like hesitates. You can tell like she's almost thinking like, how do I say it without saying it was Coach?
Right.
Yeah. But then it's also, it all goes around. But then again, like when they ask her like, hey, could you find your way back? It's an easy spot to just go, no. And just like fix the problem, but you know, the issue that just arose when you were telling your story. And of course, she ends up doing the opposite of that and says, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, it's more so a common theme of Sean and now just bullying everybody around.
Oh, yeah. A lot of that.
Spitting out the truth or, you know, getting her way. Just kind of the route that she's going now.
Young Shauna is a fucking fly. Yeah, I fucking hate her. Like, is becoming one of like the all-time like hateable characters. Like, I want to kill her.
Trials. Oh, man.
Oh, so bad.
Aggravating.
A big thing we find out is that Van, her cancer is like stopped growing. It's actually doing the opposite. It's getting like, you know, smaller and smaller, and she's going to be entering remission. And obviously we found out the waiter that they ran out on at the restaurant, he died. So both right away when they find out both of these pieces of information, Ty and Van are both under the assumption that it's a blood for blood kind of thing, and that the wilderness took and now is giving.
Yeah. But now their game plan for the rest of their lives is to just
feed the beast.
Make a sacrifice to
feed the beast, which we're gonna fucking like. That's basically exactly what they do. They test this, almost like test, because they're not even sure. Like they're having the thought in the back of their head, That's when they take like that Queen of Hearts, they like throw it, which is a cool scene. Like the people like walking by it, one person's with that
There's a kid picking it up, be like, no.
Yeah, for real. Which is crazy too. Like, so the guy ends up picking it up. They follow him back to his house or whatever. And like Ty is like, you get the impression like very much like she's just gonna go into his apartment and like just kill this guy.
Right, yeah.
Which means like we're watching and we're wondering if they're gonna go as crazy enough to kill fucking Coach. Obviously, we're gonna find out the answer is yes, but like she's willing to go. How many people? Like they must have just started killing people left and right,
yeah.
murdering off girls. She's ready to go into this guy's apartment and murder him in his own house.
Yeah.
Fucking wild.
Like she's like, I don't think you have like a lockpick or like, and then like by the time she's
Doors
done
open.
finishing the sentence, this pops it open. But
means
now
the
I'm
wilderness is
interested now
definitely
if
watching.
there's like a delay in whatever sacrifice or whatever. Now I'm interested in does her cancer come back now?
Oh yeah.
You know.
And if it does come back, like does it come back like with
How
a fucking
quickly?
vengeance?
Yeah,
like does it
right.
just fucking deteriorate her whole
Yeah.
body? And like the doctors are, you know what I mean, completely flabbergasted. Let's see. So we kind of already hinted at it. Mara gets back to camp. She's trying to tell the story. They catch on, and Shauna, like, even though they had beef at the start of the season, Shauna's now like all of a sudden like, hey, like nice and calm. Like, can you lead us to Coach in the tree? Like all nice to her and shit. And then fucking
I'll kill you.
yeah, when they go like when they're in the woods and shit, it's like getting dark, and they're like, yo, do you not remember the way? And everyone's kind of giving her a hard time. Shauna's the one that comes over and she's like, hey, like just take a breath. Like you can do this. I promise you.
It's also like, don't fuck this up.
Dude, I'm like so perplexed by like what's happening to Shauna. Like, is she just because we're eating? We're clearly eating. Like, no one's mentioning hunger. We're catching rabbits. It's summertime. Like, there's game. Like, we're good. And she's just like,
Now's when you're gonna start pulling this shit.
yeah, dude.
Come
She's just turning into a psychopath. She's just blood hungry. She just wants to. It's Lord of the Flies on meth.
She's just had enough loss in her life now that.
That I think is a big thing. I do think that there's like she's in so much pain that she just wants everybody around her to try and be in as much pain as possible. I do think there's something
just
to
go
that.
away.
True.
You'll stink up the room.
Yeah. No shit. Let's see. Ooh, this was good. This was interesting. So we've seen this man with no eyes quite a few times now in this show.
Oh, that was scary as hell.
Ty and Van, they're watching like old VHS tapes. They're watching some like old ass show. There's a commercial
Pee-wee
that comes on. Oh, yeah, you go, Pee Wee Herman. They're watching. It's like an ice cream commercial, and they see the guy that we've seen a bunch of times now on the show. Whenever Ty's like sleepwalking, it's the man with no eyes. And she mentions how like her grandmother died right around that same time. So obviously there's some kind of like tie-in memory to like pain and grief and fear to this guy or some shit. But I thought that was interesting because we've known nothing about this guy and no one's seen him aside from her at this
You
point.
don't see him like on the street or
Nope, right.
like that was weird. That's the first time that he's. But it's also like they're happy. They're cancer's in remission.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's probably the first time that they've been back together that everything's kind of going well.
True.
so now he's like, yeah, sorry, I can't have that.
True. They do the weird thing too of like if I saw this in an ice cream commercial like or whatever and I was like, oh shit, there's that guy. The last thing I would do would be to go and try and find.
We gotta go
him.
find
Yeah,
this guy.
Exactly. That's exactly what they go and do. They get into the ice cream place. It's like closed down and deserted, and they come across a coyote. He's carrying around a fucking bunny in its mouth. Which, speaking of bunnies, man, let me tell you something. I am an animal person. Like I am an animal person, and I get that there are scenes and times when they're like, all right, we're hunting, we're living out in the wild, bro. I was upset.
Yeah.
I was upset.
Yep.
I was upset.
There was no need for that.
Yeah, I was upset. I was like genuinely
At first, too,
like,
I thought it was the baby goat too that they showed earlier in that episode,
yeah,
which also would have made me sad.
yep, dude.
Come on, we don't have to show that.
When
Just have it
she
be dead inside the
literally,
cage.
yeah, exactly. Like, not even like if you're just gonna like slit, like you don't have to show, like you can just be like,
make
and,
a
like,
noise, right?
right,
They show the trees, like
bro. When the bunny's legs like kicked up towards
Yeah.
its
Ugh.
throat because like it knew and it was like almost like I hated it,
sad. Yeah.
bro. I fucking hated it.
Yep, I agree.
Can you check out charge wire? Because it seems.
It's been saying that 26% or whatever.
All right, we'll keep it. We'll see if it goes down. Let's hopefully it just stays there. All right. So, like I said, we see the coyote. It's got a bunny in its mouth, and they basically interpret that as it's being the wilderness, and they kind of say, "Hey, what do you want?" And Van's, which we're gonna hear a few times now, what you know what it wants? It wants more, and we're gonna see it in conversation and how it's going to get what it wants multiple times over the episodes we're talking about. Mm-hmm. The funniest one being obviously the llama when Aquila is tripping out in her dream. Yeah. And the fucking llama is just like, hey, if it's going to eat, it's going to eat. Yeah. That shit was pretty fucking funny. And then we get to like basically like the big part of this episode. Very, very Lost feeling to me for all the Lost fans out there. They finally get to the cave, and they're, about to go inside kind of thing. They're kind of thinking about what they're going to do, though. And you hear the same beasts roaring that we heard at the beginning of the episode. Now they're outside the cave, though, and it sounds like they're everywhere. You know what I mean? It was fucking really cool. And the wind starts fucking blowing like crazy, and you hear these fucking things. It sounds like a stampeding. And that just fires a shot into the air, and they end up calming down. They go into the cave. And this whole thing was really trippy. Like I said, this was very Lost vibes to me. Like, you enter this cave, and we've already seen it a little bit, and the next thing you know, we're going through, like, tunnels.
Weird way to show everybody tripping, too.
For real. Like, the longest cave of all time. Yeah.
Weird. Bizarre.
Yeah. Split into two groups, and then the one group goes through, like, the tight tunnel, and then they come into, like, a big opening, and it's Aquila, Shauna, and Van, and they all, like, basically pass out. They all have their own different dreams where, like, Van's in the cabin, Shauna's in the lake with her son, like, crying out to her, and she can't get there. Yep. And then Aquila sees the animals and the talking llama. Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah, no shit. Me too. And then they all end up in, like, one dream together where they're in, like, a classroom. They're all in uniform, and Lottie's there, and Jackie's there, and she's got one of those old school, like, late 90s or mid 90s, like, snap bracelets. And she gives it to Aquila first. Aquila snaps it, completely normal. Then it goes on Van, and it leaves a cut around her arm. And then it goes around Shauna, it goes around her neck, and it's, like, literally, like, cutting her throat. Yeah. So you have to imagine that that's, like, her responding to the people that, like, Aquila had nothing to do with her death. Like, she had nothing to do with pushing her out of the cabin and being out in the cold.
She hasn't really said anything up until recently.
Van did have some part in that as far as pushing her outside and not going out to help her, because literally she just goes outside and sleeps in the snow and no one does fucking anything. Yeah, right. And then you have Shauna, who obviously is, like, the biggest, most guilty culprit, and she gets her throat slit. So it seems like there's some kind of tie there to almost Jackie, like, getting revenge in the dream. They're all feeling guilty.
It's just a cut.
Yeah. But let's see. Oh yeah. The episode ends with Shauna and Nakia. They wake back up. They're calling for Van, and Coach comes out of nowhere. He's dragging Van. She's unconscious, and he's saying something about how there's got to be, like, poison, whether it's in the air or in the water down in this area. But it does literally zero good, because right away they just, like, put a gun in his face, and they're like, hey, like, we're taking you hostage.
Come with us, Coach.
Yeah.
Sorry, Coach.
Yeah. Tough break. I didn't really have much of an opinion on Coach through the first 2 episodes of the show, but now
last one, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I feel bad. Coach has got a tough break.
Coach got porked.
All right, so that was everything I had for episode 3. A really good episode. A very, like, dense episode. Yep. Like, there was a lot of scenes, and they all felt like they had some value to them.
Very important scenes.
Yeah, I think this is going to be, like, a big episode as far as really setting the table for this season. Episode 4. This was a really good episode. This one was a little bit more like surface level, not as dense, but a really, really good episode. We open up. We see Shauna, Aquila, and Van fresh off of their dreams. Shauna's very much trying to, like, brush off the dreams that they just had. And she wants blood right away. Like, kind of what we were just talking about. Like, this doesn't seem like it's a real thing about her being mad that Coach tried to burn down the cabin. This seems like it's, like, a deeper psychological thing for her. Yeah. Like, she's starting to, like, give into the inner cave woman. Like, she's fucking tapped. And there is also, I think there is something to kind of what we were just saying as far as her being in real pain and wanting to have others around her feel the same way. Exactly, yeah. Because between you got Jackie and then obviously her kid, she's stuck out here. She's in deep mourning. She's obviously, in just complete misery.
Yep.
So she wants blood right away, and we find out that there's going to be a trial, which right away you know that this thing's going to be a murmurous
climbing an
farce.
uphill battle here.
Yeah, there's just no way. There's no way that coach can win this.
Yeah.
But either way, we get I really liked this episode, mostly because Misty's my favorite character, and this is a great Misty episode. But basically, Nat is like, hey, like, Misty, you have to be the one that defends him because nobody else is going to be able to give him a fair trial.
Yeah.
And obviously, you're the Looney Tunes.
You're in love with him.
That too. Yeah. Also, like, I think everyone's probably kind of aware that, like, even though Misty is crazy, she clearly is one of, like, the smarter people, like, out here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if she is a little bit of a Looney Tune.
But that's also such a bad leader that she can't even. Everybody can't even agree on what the vote is on this trial.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
I think what she said is very good though, as far as like how in normal day life, it's like, it's everyone's got to be voting for guilty.
Also, some people want full, some people want half. So
2/3.
2/3 is the way to do it.
Yeah, makes total sense. So like we said, Misty's elected to defend Coach, only chance at a fair trial, and at first she's a little like, yeah, but then like once it's presented as like a challenge, that's when she's all in.
I love how she's like, "Don't fuck this up for me."
Yeah. That's true.
Coach's got everything to lose.
Yeah. She's like, when she says the smile, she's like, smile. Like, don't fucking embarrass
smile.
me. But that instantly sets the table for a good episode. We're going to have Misty versus Ty, who I hate Shauna, but I hate Ty. Especially young Ty. I fucking hate her. She fucking sucks. And you know what's crazy is I love her so much in Scream.
Yeah, right.
She's like,
very good.
yeah. She's like the fucking. Actually, she's the niece of fucking Jamie Kennedy's character.
Yeah,
but like she even like acts like him and shit. Like she's great in Scream, and in this, I just want to fucking kick her right in the head. We go into present day. Shauna's husband. This was a very good storyline for him. He's funny.
Love this guy.
Yeah, he's very very funny. He's just like completely filled with guilt over everything that's happened to like the first 2 seasons. Says that the family has bad karma. Trying to change the good karma. First thing he suggests is trying to find a cat that's been missing for 2 years. Bro, no cat's been missing for 2 years. Bro, no cat been missing for 2 years. That cat dead as fuck, dog. And then he's doing like the donations, and then finally says like, all right, we're gonna do some fucking charity work. Which it turns out, we're gonna find out shortly later, that the charity work is at Misty's hospital or a nursing home. Hysterical. Misty meets with Coach for the first time. Coach obviously knows kind of like what I just said as far as it being a murmurous farce. But it seems like when Misty talks to him, like there is a small sense of hope that creeps
so
onto
we
him.
can do this.
That's how good Misty is, yeah.
And she is very convincing.
She is very
During the
convincing. Oh, she does fucking great. We already talked about the following the guy back. The only thing we didn't mention is that before that, like Ty was ready to go in and murder him. Van kind of says like, fuck that. We're not going to go kill a guy. And let's just enjoy the time.
Out of the reach, literally burning bodies and
True.
that far out of it's not that far out of the realm of
No.
possibility.
Thankfully, they're like however many, whatever it is, 20 years further down the road from that. 20, 25, 30. I don't know how many years. I forgot. But you would think you'd be able to put that shit behind you, which seems like she has. Like, she seems turned off by a lot of this. Like, even like Ty's always the one that's kind of pushing the connections to the wilderness in that conversation. And she's always kind of a little bit more like, nah.
She just kind of wants to enjoy like she even says it. She just wants to enjoy the time that they have left.
Yeah, she's out of the.
However short or long that is.
She made it out. She's out. Like, she's out.
Right.
It seems like she very much tried to put all of that shit behind her, where most of these other girls have not been able to do so.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a cute little thing though. Ty she's like, all right, yeah, fine. Like, she agrees and she leaves. She's like, meet me at Central Park in an hour. And she sets up the date that Van had mentioned, like, when they were in the wilderness as a big softy and sap. That hit really nice for me. I was like, oh shit. When they got there and she was standing like at the pretzel stand, and then there was the horse in the back, I was like, oh shit. I was like, I hate you, but that's sweet as fuck. Oh, fuck. So we're going to get to the actual trial, which we've already talked about how good of a job that Misty did, but I think not the most, but one of the most important things is how it starts. Nat comes out. She's the judge. She's the leader of the group. And she comes out with that deer antler crown.
Yeah.
And that's like the first step to what we see in the first episode of the entire series, when all of the girls in Travis are eating that fucking girl that they caught in the opening scene,
Yep.
and they like all have like intricate headdresses on.
The cult.
Yeah, and then whoever the leader is, which we don't know at this point, I'm assuming it's probably going to be Shauna.
Don't think Nat's gonna last that long.
No, and I don't think they're going to give it back to Lottie.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be Shauna. There's going to be the one with that fucking queen thing that had like even the was it a Gale, right? Veil.
Yeah, Veil.
So that was cool. Like, and they even played the music too, almost to like symbolize like
Yeah.
this is the beginning. Like things are.
The way they shoot it too is just the antlers and the deer like skull.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
Pops out and you see it.
That little fucking teepee hut village
Yeah,
I think
setup.
is cool.
Yeah,
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 very
nice setup.
fucking cool. It's good. Jesus Christ. It's going to be a problem come wintertime as far as snow and shit, but summertime it's pretty
Who knows
cool.
when that is?
Yeah, for real. Summertime it's pretty dope. So yeah, Misty, I mean, does beyond a phenomenal job throughout the course of this trial. Everybody, whether it's Shauna, she paints a good picture. Shauna, who's the second one?
The one that was
Marcy.
Yeah.
Mari. She paints a good picture with Mari. She paints a good picture with Shauna. She paints a good picture with Lottie.
Yep.
She even gets like at one point, like Lottie's like, I didn't kill her. She's like, I'm not saying you did, but based on everything I just said to you,
Right.
could you make you make the thought with the context that you would have done it? And Lottie's like, yeah.
Yeah. And
Which
that's the way to do it. Just putting some reasonable doubt in people's minds that like,
It's the name of the game.
shit, maybe he didn't do it.
It's the name of the game.
Yeah.
All you have to do, questionable doubt.
Yep.
You're gonna send this guy to death. You got to be 100% certain.
Yeah.
She literally like pointed.
It's almost like we're not defending. We're not. Our thing going into this trial is not that he didn't kill her, like he didn't burn the cabin down.
Right.
It's more so we're putting doubt into
Right.
everybody else's heads. Maybe he didn't do it.
Yep.
You know.
And she just completely bodies it because she's the best. Like she is the best. And then we get to where everything's kind of starts to turn on its head, which is when Sean is going to tell Ty that it sucks because Misty was the one that gave her the information. It sucks.
Yeah.
Misty almost
Burned.
shot herself in the foot. Yeah.
Burned.
That Nat knew where Coach was the whole entire time, which sure enough, Ty brings up instantly, and it puts a huge spotlight on Nat as far as her leadership and if they can trust her.
Yeah.
And it really turns this whole
To the
trial.
point where they
on
put the
its
judge on the bench.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
They call the judge.
That's like the big, that's like the move that you always want to try to keep the defendant off the stand, and
And they make her the most like simple version of herself too. Like she takes off the helmet or whatever. Earlier.
oh yeah,
She
yes.
also has the robe on, and like before she goes on, they're like
Take that shit off too.
Yeah.
Yep. One thing I was shocked about actually in the whether it was Mari's or whoever, the hot chocolate never came up. That was something I like noted. Like as far as not only did Coach not kill you and he let you go, he also gave you hot chocolate, which is something that I think would have been mentioned either in his defense or just in general of like he found hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Maybe there's more hot chocolate.
Right, yeah.
We should find that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And also like Mari, like she fell into that hole, like she knows like he got the hot chocolate. Like she's not able to like put any of these things together as far as like
She
maybe
doesn't even question how he got it.
exactly
Like, how he got it or whatever.
right. Like was there something in that hole before I fell into it? If I just fell into it, like who put the fucking hole there? Is this from fucking tribes clans 100 years ago?
Yeah, doesn't care.
Yeah, I was just kind of surprised because like to me I was like that's a big fucking piece of evidence for Coach. Like he gave me hot chocolate.
Yeah,
that shows he ain't gonna kill me.
Yeah,
he gave me goods.
Right.
But let's see here. Okay, so we talked about the good karma. Shauna and her husband trying to get good karma back on their side. They do the charity work at Misty's hospital or nursing home, whatever it is. And Shauna ends up getting locked in the freezer.
On the tapioca duty.
Yep, on tapioca dilly. She gets locked in the freezer. And the episode prior was when her and Misty were driving in the car and her brakes basically just like stopped working. So they were like unable to stop. And now she's trapped in the freezer. She keeps accusing Misty, but that seems too like on the nose.
Yeah.
like I'm not even convinced that there's actually like a person behind it, and it's not quote unquote the wilderness behind it.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
You think so
Yeah,
too?
I think it is for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think anybody's sneaking around, the nursing home.
Maybe.
Breaks one thing, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's like there at the nursing home. I definitely thought it was more so just nature. Almost like Final Destination is,
There's a lot of that vibe in this season, especially Final Destination kind of shit.
But I love how too, while she's making the tapioca, like Misty's like, you literally stay at home all day and just cook for your family. Like,
monotony.
You didn't want to get away from this? Like, I thought doing more of this would make you miserable.
Which seems like it's basically all that she's done.
I was like, no.
She was the.
Like, I can't bear this.
Yeah.
Like, I can't bear to watch this any longer.
She's been doing that since she was out there. She was the one that was like cutting the meat and getting everything prepped to basically like quote unquote cook. So she's basically done nothing but like feed people for the last however many years, 20, 25 years.
Yep. Also, the husband in the bingo telling jokes.
Oh, that was very funny.
It was
yeah,
hilarious.
that was very
That guy's
funny.
awesome.
Guy found his calling.
Yeah.
Didn't even know it. And he was just doing some charity work, trying to get his good karma up, and now he's the fucking center stage for all of the nursing home. That one guy was like, now this is bingo.
Yeah. Why don't you go get us some cookies? Like telling the other guy.
Yeah.
Why don't you go get us some cookies? Like, get the fuck out.
I was like, I think he goes in some sodas, in some sodas. That guy's done a couple of other things, and it's funny. There was I don't know if you ever watched it with me. The Following was about like a show. It's like about like
Kevin
a cult
Bacon?
show. Kevin Bacon was in it. Yeah. So he's like a big part of the show because he's like the sheriff of the town.
Yeah.
But then it turns out that he's actually like the right hand man to the cult leader.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. And he's very like he's got like that charming psychopath, like the
Yeah.
American Psycho thing going
Yeah.
on. You know what I mean? What's he doing now? That cat always in the fucking trouble. All right, so like we said, we put Coach on the stand. He gives a great speech. Clearly, like wins over some of the girls. You can like see it, like they're turning a little
Yeah.
bit.
He's like, I fought for you guys so many times, and lays out all the different times.
Yep. Like explains how at the beginning he was like, you could tell he's honest because at the beginning he's like, I couldn't fucking stand you guys. Like I wanted nothing to do with you. I wanted to get away from you. And then little by little, he he really cares about them. He's defended them.
You guys are
Yada.
underdogs. He's
That's
like, I
right.
love that.
Yeah, that's right. It's a very good speech. Even like talking to Shauna because he like mentions the fact that which is crazy that they used that as like a piece of evidence against him. They were like, you left when she was like giving birth, and it's just like just because he's like an adult does not mean
Yeah,
that
what the hell is he supposed to do?
Yeah, he's a gay guy. He was trying to avoid vaginas his entire life, and now you want him to like look at a there's
coming out of it?
right.
Yeah.
It's crazy that you think he would be of more help in this situation because he's a fucking substitute health teacher. But either way, we get to the to the end of the trial. We do the voting, which we already hinted about. The voting process, 2/3 majority, was a shit show. Dozens of votes casted over and over and over again. So it finally gets to the point where this is when I was start like yelling at my television. Where like Shauna starts basically screaming and threatening these other girls to change their vote.
Yeah.
And I'm screaming, I'm like, dude, like somebody say something.
Yeah.
And Misty and Nat speak up like 2 words, get told to shut up, and like that's it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it's just them being weak and rolling over because of the situation, or if it's because Shauna.
Pick your battles, kind of deal. Maybe.
Right? Is it that is right? Is it you're picking your battles, or are you like actually in legitimate fear of Shauna?
I would think fear of Shauna.
Yeah.
Yeah, because also it could be like say something like this happens where they do another trial. You know what I mean? Like Shauna's gonna remember that if I don't vote with her, and I'm on the stand, like I'm fucked. So I think they're just kind of like, all right, like I'm just gonna pick my battle with this one. Sorry, coach.
Yeah. And Misty giving Shauna the information that Nat knew where Coach was already kind of shows that she was trying to get goodwill, get good faith. You know what I mean? She was trying to work her way up the Shauna tree.
Yep.
So, and she was not obligated to do this trial, but she was elected basically to do this trial. Mm-hmm. So even though she did a good job, she's probably still in the back of her mind, like, I'm doing this because I have to, not because I want to.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess so. You're probably right about that. Either way, though, she finally gets the votes that she needs. Coach is found guilty. She basically able to get like everybody to switch sides. This fucking girl of hers, this backwards hat clit rider, I can't remember her name. I think it might be Megan. It's something like
Susie.
that.
It's not Susie.
R.I.P. and peace. But she's just annoying as fuck. Like, she comes over to it, she's like, "Do you see that?" Like, she's like, "That's power." Yeah. I'm just like, bro, like, what the fuck are we talking about? Like, this is getting super fucking Lord of the Fliesy. Like, you guys, it's almost like you guys want to be here at this point.
Right.
Like, this is your new life. You know what I mean? Good ending for the episode, though. Very, very good episode. A good ending as far as, like, I was shocked. Like, I didn't see it coming at all.
Yeah,
at all. At fucking all, dude. Walter, we see Frodo Baggins is back. He texts Misty and he just says, like, basically, sorry about Lottie. And Misty looks up on her computer, and it turns out that Lottie is fucking dead. Lottie's dead.
Was this part of, like, what I was talking about earlier?
What do you mean?
Where, like, everything was, like, cut, like, you know what I mean? Like, the timeline with COVID and all that?
Was
this supposed to be that quick?
Probably, because Lottie's death changes everything, I feel like.
Right,
like
so
it's a
I
very,
feel like
very
expanded
big.
it more. I was just surprised that it was just out of nowhere.
Yeah. No, I kind of get what you're saying.
I'm sure they'll branch on it maybe later episodes now.
Oh yeah, Lottie's death is gonna play. Nat's death played a thing for a while, and now this I feel like is going to be a really, really, really big one because of how tied into the.
I was just surprised that it happened out of nowhere.
Yeah, well,
it was like an oh shit moment.
Right, that's good.
Yeah,
you know, like, I do get what you're saying, but like I felt the same way. I was like, oh fuck, I did not see that coming at all. So that was good.
Not one bit.
I gotta fucking get moving here. 7:23. Jesus Christ, I gotta eat food before that other thing. All right, yeah. So Lottie's dead. Crazy way to end the episode, though. Big piece. That's the second body now for the older regime. Actually, no, third because Travis dropped too. Travis, Nat, and now Lottie, who's obviously, like they said, like kind of like the ringleader for this whole thing. We're going to get into our episode 5. This is our last episode. We're going to find out that Misty, no surprise, looking into Lottie's death. She's at the morgue confirming her body, which is a little bit creepy. She's able to convince the employee to give her all of her possessions. And then also while he's going to get those possessions, she goes like full-blown fucking detective and starts ripping hairs from underneath her fingernails. Yeah, which that's like a thing. Like if you fight back against your attacker, like there you go. You usually get skin particles or, hair strains and shit like that under your nails and DNA.
Yeah, because the not Undertaker guy, but the guy working in the morgue.
Yeah,
he's part of that. Like, he's part of that, like, community that she's in with Walter and all that. So she calls him by his username, and he's like, "Oh fuck."
Yep. I didn't even actually think of that. I almost forgot about it. Good call. So Misty, after confirming death, she grabs Shauna, Ty, Van, tells them all that she died. And honestly, Shauna accuses her of fucking killing him, and Van and fucking Ty don't really say anything. And I was pissed. I was like, no one's going to stand up for my girl. I was like, she's done nothing but help you guys every step of the way, aside from, destroying the radar jammer and
the reason this whole thing's going on.
Causing them to be out there for a very long time and the stem of everything.
Yeah.
She's always trying to help everybody. What the fuck?
Yeah. And Shauna finds out that the brakes weren't cut.
Yeah, that was funny.
I
Actually,
mean?
yeah.
So,
She's
like,
like, so someone tampered with them. He's like, no,
I just replaced it.
Happens literally all. Yeah, happens literally all the
it's
time.
It's a piece of shit van from
True.
God,
Yeah. She's already crashed it.
Yeah.
So we see Sean is tailing Misty. Walt is also Frodo's tailing Misty as well. So it turns out basically by proxy, he's tailing Shauna. He's committed to finding Lottie's killer as well.
He's the man.
He's great. Oh, when he had the sunglasses on, he just rolls down. He's got the gloves. He's got the gloves on. I was like, yeah, he's fucking great. He's fucking hysterical. Reminded me of fucking Ryan Gosling in Drive. Fucking.
Yeah, he's great.
Even when he, like Shauna basically says like, oh, like it could have been you, and he's just like, it's good questioning. And basically like says like, hey, maybe we should work together. So that's exactly what they end up doing. We can kind of just stick there before bounce. Yeah, so let's just stick there. So they're going to go off. They're going to go as a little team. And we're going to see that Misty has gotten into the hotel that Lottie died at. She's at the staircase. She's like scoping it all out. She sees some claw marks on the fucking wall and shit. talks to the guy that works at the front desk. Turns out that Lottie's family has been living in the penthouse for like 40 years at this point, and that Lottie had been staying there recently. Misty's like, great, perfect. She works her way upstairs. She gets to the penthouse. She beats the dad, who's got severe Alzheimer's for sure. Gets inside. Shauna and Frodo are there, posed as like internet repairmen, basically like fucking Comcast or whatever the fuck. And they're all in this fucking penthouse with this Alzheimer guy looking for any shred of evidence. This was like a good combination, like a good finding of characters all coming together,
Walter
even if it was
and
only 3 of
Shauna.
them. Yeah, this was really good.
The guy who penetrated the internet. Do you want me to show you how I penetrate the internet? She's like, God, please don't say that word.
I liked. There was a lot about this entire thing. Misty being like smart enough to be like, yeah, these old like pre-World War II buildings or some shit like that with these concrete walls. Like at my place, they had to come through the wall, and she knocks on the wall and it's hard as fuck. And she's like, oh shit. Like, Shauna in that moment was like, I forgot who I'm dealing with. Like I fucking forgot I'm dealing with Misty fucking Quigley, and she knows every detail of everything in the world. So that was a really really funny scene. Actually, you know what? Let's just like finish it out. Misty ends up like being able to like outsmart them. They get removed. She finds the phone. Walt has already cloned it. Frodo's still just trying to get with this girl, and like Misty's having none of it.
Makes me sad.
It is, and there was the one line too that was very funny. She's like, you clearly think like she's gonna say like, I can't believe like I had sex with you. And she's like, I can't believe I let you clean Caligula's cage.
And the look on his face afterwards, he's just
Devastation. Yeah, absolute devastation.
And whenever Shauna and Walter are together, she's like, "You guys deserve each other."
Yeah, that was funny.
I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, that was funny too. It's definitely an interesting pairing, the two of them. Shauna being Shauna's grown up. Shauna is so much more enjoyable.
Yes.
Very enjoyable.
Yeah. Glad she changed over time.
Yeah, no shit, man, no shit. We go back to the past. The girls are going to draw cards like they've done before to determine who's going to shoot Coach after Shauna suggests burning him at the fucking stake like it's Salem in the witch trials.
Do it to us.
Yeah, no shit. Ty ends up pulling the card. So
King of Hearts is though.
King of Hearts, yeah. What did she say? It's like the Suicide King or some shit like that, I think it is. Basically, Van and Ty go out to the woods to kind of prep. They have the gun. They draw a little X on a tree for her to shoot at. Basically, get ready to kill Coach. And obviously, Ty's having a hard time about it. Van makes the suggestion that maybe we can bring out your other half, the presence inside you that we see when you sleepwalk at night. And maybe she can do the job for us and she can kill Coach. Ty's like, well, I haven't fucking sleepwalked in a long time. So in response to that, in order to try and get the presence out to kill Coach, Van decides to spin around Ty, push her up against a tree, and then finger fuck her from behind. Yeah. As if that is somehow going to do the trick. And I saw that...
It's like big werewolf springs out like the inner demon.
I watched... Hey, dude, when she like stopped her and spun her around, I literally was just like, what are you going to do? Yeah. What are you doing?
Get up against that tree.
Yeah, what are you going to do from that angle? Yeah. Like, I don't understand. And then she started doing that, and I was just like, okay. And sure enough, that...
Can't hurt, I guess.
Yeah, that of course that doesn't fucking work.
Yeah. Well, hey, whatever.
Give it a shot.
Yeah,
give it your best go. Let's see here. Misty, we already went through all of Misty's stuff. Okay, yeah. All right. So we threw to the point where Ty is struggling to kill him. We're going to see Lottie, Travis, and Aquila. They're going to go back to the cave because Aquila basically told Lottie what happened about the dream, the vision. And she said, like, at first she was hesitant, but now she's ready to dive the fuck in.
She's Inception, but we have to go deeper.
Yeah, something's going on. And Travis obviously knows some shit's going on already. So we go back to the cave. Aquila has another vision. This time it's involving Coach, and basically it makes him seem like he's a bridge to them getting out of there. So she's like, hey, we got to go save Coach. Sure enough, Ty's getting ready to shoot this guy. She's shaking. The presence comes out. But before the presence can shoot Coach, they get there just in time to fucking save him. And
throughout the whole trial, too, he's drawing the picture. Travis is drawing the picture of him being the savior.
Yep. And it's weird because, well, it's not weird, but it was weird to me. Like, I didn't get it totally because You go from that scene, like everyone, like they're there, they saved Coach, they saved him because we need him. And then the very next time that we go to them is Coach in his little fenced-in area, and Shauna and her little clit rider are there, and they fucking, they're standing over, and they got the knife. Brutal. And Shauna says the same thing that the girl said to her, is like, you shouldn't be scared of your dark parts either. And she if she's hesitant and responds to her hesitancy by slitting the Achilles heel of this man.
Hell yeah, the only Achilles heel he has.
The only one he's got left. For sure gonna bleed out and die.
Yeah.
That's how you, like, that's literally torturous. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Just stab him, like, in the head or shoot him like the original plan.
Yeah. And also, too, they're not afraid to hide whatever's going on between them now, too.
Oh, yeah,
They come back holding hands. It's all bloody.
Yeah, that's fucking gross. I was very disgusted by that, too.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere now. Well, I don't think he was going anywhere to begin with.
But what happened?
What is this fence where he can't? I think they had to decide, like, all right, like, we keep him alive, but also at the same time, we got to make sure he's not going anywhere.
Where
I don't think he is anywhere,
the fuck is he going to go? Right. He's on one foot.
Right. What is this horrible fence that you build if he's potentially crutching his way out of there?
Yeah, no shit. And that's actually where we leave off. So they slit his Achilles. They go back, and Shauna says that. She's like, he's not going anywhere. You don't have to enjoy it this much, Nat says. And
they didn't go rogue on it either,
fucking
though.
Saint about it. No,
You know
they
what I
clearly
mean?
knew it was happening.
They talked about it.
Oh, yeah. Even like Misty was like kind of like tearing up in the corner and shit.
Yeah.
Nat knew. Lottie knew. Yeah. So we just didn't see that, but it was just weird that the scenes happened. The scenes happened like right after one into the other, and it's just like, well, what changed?
Yeah, we need him to live, but we're gonna do this at the same time.
Yeah,
God
no
forbid
shit.
He hit an artery or something, kill him.
Yeah, which I don't understand how that didn't happen. Somebody like, even if you like wrap that right away, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like when you get your Achilles, like that's a death sentence.
You just can't walk, but he can't walk anyway.
Yes, you kill your Achilles. That's bleed out. Like you're.
Yeah. Just wrap that shit up quick. And...
I guess ain't nobody there to help him fucking wrap it up. Man, my poor Coach. Like I said, I didn't even really care about that guy at all through the first 2 seasons, and now like Coach has become my guy now.
Coach.
Yeah, I fucking Coach.
He loves underdogs.
Yeah, he was so right. He was just like, I saw what was like happening, and he was just like, I don't belong here. He's like, I was scared.
Right,
I was like, yeah, you should be scared, bro. I'm scared.
Yeah,
right. But kind of like I said right at the beginning of all of this, season 2 was kind of meh, and now season 3 has got me totally locked the fuck back in. Like I am all in on this.
I think
fucking
it's both
season.
sides, as kids and as adults.
Yeah,
You're intrigued in.
Yes,
That's
I
what
am.
makes you fully invested.
Yeah, I definitely am. Especially like there's starting things like the guy with no eyes starting to be present in present day. That intrigues me.
Yeah.
Now, Lottie's death obviously very much intrigues me because it does throw like a weird wrench into the dynamic. Like I don't think it would have been as weird if, say, Ty died or Van died. It would have been the same as if Shauna or Misty died. I feel like those 3 were kind of like a little triarchy.
Yeah.
And then there was a little bit of a drop off.
Top tier.
Yeah. So I was almost surprised when fucking Lottie, like even like Nat was less surprising to me at the end of season 2 than Lottie was here.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But yeah, no, heavily invested.
How fast, just out of nowhere it was.
Yeah.
Again, in a good way.
Right.
What the hell?
And it was very, seemed very like reminiscent like of the Travis death. Like they just found him in a little barn by himself with like the candle, which there were candles. I don't know if you noticed that on the stairway there were candles. Right. So that was another thing. I was like, ooh, there might be something there too. Which we said that Travis was murdered, and now it very much seems like Lottie was murdered.
So like talking to herself in the mirror, right?
Yeah. One of them. She was like basically practicing like a little like speech. It was for Shauna. Like I understand. Yeah, it was for Shauna. I mean, I think that's where all the fingers are pointed to, as it being at Shauna. Frodo also offered the like the hair particle fucking switch. He was like, here, like I'll give you a particle of my hair for a particle of yours, just to prove that I wasn't the one that killed her. Yeah. And she was like, nah.
But he still gets one anyway. So
from her hat.
Yeah, kind of interesting that like if she doesn't voluntarily does it still count?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if he just finds a hair.
Oh yeah, it's gonna fucking if the DNA comes up. That's
and
all he gives a
he
shit.
DNA
Anyways.
though, yeah, I think that's the big thing.
Yep. I would fucking. Yeah, all signs are pointing to Shauna, but They also keep
Walter's
hinting at
scheming around now. I don't know. Walter's he's scheming around a little bit.
There's still
he knows his way around the block, you know.
Oh, for sure. There's still the cell phone too from the stall that was calling Shauna. So that's still kind of they've hinted at the fucking
Susie.
goddamn Dyke Day. Yeah, Megan, Susie, whatever the fuck her name is. I hope it's like neither. I hope it's like Amanda. But yeah, no, heavily invested on what's to come. We got 4 episodes left of this, 4 episodes left of White Lotus, so it all works out perfectly. We're gonna come back to cover these. We'll be back at the end of the finales to talk about the shows as a whole.
And I'm glad it seems that you're more intrigued by Yellowjackets, and honestly, I'm more intrigued by White Lotus.
That's true. It does balance out nicely.
Yeah,
it's true. It's a good call. It does balance out nice. And hopefully, when we come back for the finales, we'll have Lukey back with us, and we can get all of his takes on the whole seasons and all of that stuff.
Quick recap of the whole season for him.
Yeah, for sure. It's nice having. I like the 3 of us doing shows. It's always a good time.
Yeah.
And we obviously did the premiere episodes together. So, all right, that's gonna wrap it up for us here tonight. Unless you have anything else.
No.
That's
it for me. Looking
all right.
forward to the end.
Thank you as always, brother, for popping in. This was good. We will talk to you again for Daredevil in like a week and a half.
Yep.
Actually, that's the next time we'll talk to everybody. Now that I think about it.
That's tonight, right?
Yeah, Daredevil's tonight. Yeah. So we'll be with everybody 2 weeks, a week and a half to talk Daredevil, and then back at the end of these 2 shows to talk season finales. But hope you guys all enjoyed it, and as always, happy watching.
That's it.